Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Ankerstar Wealth Market Update. I'm your host, Allison Ankerstar, and today we'll be talking about the stock market futures, Robinhood's increased trading hours, and the proposed billionaire's minimum tax. But before we begin, as a reminder, this is a financial education presentation and should not be construed as personal financial advice. Full disclaimer information is available at ankerstarwealth.com. Good morning, Steve. The futures are higher this morning. What's causing this run up in the markets?
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that intro, Allison. Yeah, the futures are higher nicely. Let's go ahead and, this will be a 4-day winning streak if it holds. So pretty cool, at least from the where we were. Let's flip over to the actual futures here. You can see NASDAQ up over 1% after, the huge run up yesterday that I had in the Dow and the S&P as well. We've talked about retracement and the bear market being over and that sort of thing. Here's a 1-year chart on the NASDAQ, which again is tech stock, which again, we're heavy. If you invest with me, again, you heavy into tech because we like the margin and the upside. When you look at the tops in here in November, and again, the really right at the end of the year, the big 20% plus hit took us into the actual bear market for tech. And then of course, as soon as we touched that, we were down in here, we had what I call the max pain point that you and I talked about, Allison, one day. And then of course, the 50% retracement. And then again, the fact that, Kramer pointed out that 21 times that the bear market has retraced 50%, and that has 21 out of 21 mark the end of the bear market. So I think people are a lot more comfortable putting money to work at these levels. So where does it go from here? Well, I think we've had the move up from being oversold, if you will. So even though today's setting up for a nice big green day, I would not be surprised if the rest of this today and the rest of, we have quarter closeout coming up here in a couple days. So a lot of times there's some window dressing going on where the popular names get bought. So fund managers can, say, hey, look, all these, I was in the best names for the whole quarter, even though they were only in it for the last day when they went into reporting. But generally it's a rich get richer as far as the good stocks move up towards the end of the quarter and the other ones kind of get sold off. So I could see us kind of taking a break here. I would not predict that this continues. The streak that we've had of just going straight up continues. So overall, I like where we are. I think that the deal, the deal of the year, whatever, is probably back in here, and hopefully you bought some more along the way.
Next, Robin just announced that they would increase their trading hours to match the larger brokerage firms. Is ticker symbol HOOD a buy, sell, or hold?
Yeah, Robinhood is, again, kind of born around the March 2020 timeframe. Is probably before that, but that's kind of when they got some legal trouble, and they got a huge fine. I want to say it was $150 million, and people were locked out of. I picked up a couple clients from Robinhood because people were locked out of their accounts; they couldn't sell. There was the March 2020, and there was also all the meme stocks, right? There was AMC and GameStop, and they were locked out of those from selling. So Robinhood wasn't necessarily mature enough at the time, and that's what they're going for. Obviously, hopefully for them, all their troubles are behind them, and that they're not going to face any more fines. But, you can see right here in this headline, Robinhood up to now has only allowed you to trade 30 minutes before the open and 2 hours after the close. Now, most people should not trade after hours. You just really shouldn't do it. But there are times when you need to move out of something because you need to do it today so the funds settle in time for you to put your down, make the purchase or whatever 3 days from now after it settles. If you're using an advisor, by the way, you can get an immediate settlement, but you do have to call your advisor, and your advisor has to make a phone call, but it can be done if you need your funds right away. That was just an aside. But so what Robinhood has done now is taken those hours and matched them up to what Schwab and everybody else does. And as you may or may not know, the standard stock market day, 9:30 to 4 p.m. Eastern. Okay, it's been that way for a long time. But the stock market does allow you to trade as early as 4 a.m. Eastern. So again, I'm normally in Central Time. Pacific time right now, so that'd be 1 in the morning. But normally back home at 3 in the morning is when, if I needed to wake up and start looking at the markets, that is when I could do there. And then again, Schwab doesn't allow me to really place any trades until around 6 a.m. local time. So again, they're basically matching what the big players in the space are doing. As far as the stock itself, I'm not a fan. Okay, it's obviously had its issues. So when you look at this chart again, this is the 1 year. Here we are back in August, up at $70. It's down at 13 now. Everybody's been buying in here saying it's bottomed, and probably has. But there's two things that go into it: has the stock bottom, yes or no? Okay, yes, it really looks like it has. Robinhood, I can't remember the CEO's name. It's over here to the right, Vlad Tenev. If I'm saying that correct, so I do think the bottom is in. Now, is there a catalyst for it to go higher? Well, it needs to be something more than just, trading hours, right? So I don't know. We'd have to say, I think before I would get excited about the name, I would have to see something new and different. They started off as Robinhood, steal from the rich, give to the poor. It's a cute name. It's a great logo. The app has a user interface, and then they stubbed their toe pretty hard. They also got called out for gamification of investing, and they've talked a big game about moving into crypto, and I'm not sure they have as much as they thought they were going to, right? So anyhow, the overall, I'm not excited about the stock going higher. I do think you could make a case that it is a buy here and that eventually it will go higher, but I'm not ready to move in yet.
Last, President Biden proposed a billionaire's minimum tax in his most recent budget. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, I'm not quite crystal clear in my mind how you can propose a change to tax law in a budget and make that stick, right? So even if we pass the budget, does that mean this comes into law? I would have to think it would have to be handled separately, but I'm sure the mainstream media will cover that. But I want to cover what's in it, and if it does come to pass, how's it going to affect the markets? Most I don't think I have a billionaire that listens to our show, but if I do, welcome. Sorry about your new tax. But for everybody else, I don't think it's going to affect us a whole lot. But to cover the rules, the request to Congress, it's the second line here: billionaire's minimum tax is a 20% income tax rate for the top, 0.01% earners and households worth more than 100 million. So, okay, that's a zero away from a billion, by the way. So 1/10 of a billionaire, but still 100 million is a pretty significant amount. And, the issue though, is that they, trying to put into place a 20% minimum is still a challenge, because a lot of your super ultra wealthy, they own things, right? They have capital gains. They don't necessarily have income because they're not really working, because there is a full-time job, managing their wealth, if you will. So a lot of people, not only is a full-time job, they hire a whole team of advisors to help them with this, right? So I don't know that taxing income is really the answer. Florida had what was called a wealth tax back in the day. I think it was technically an intangibles tax, where you had to calculate your net worth and you paid a small fraction of that. I think that would be a much better way to try to tax the rich. However, the bookkeeping on that is almost impossible. Right. You can value stuff at whatever you want. Somebody would say, what's the value of Ankerstar wealth? And I have it calculated out, and I have a spreadsheet, and, I offer that, but that's still a lot of the, that's me making assumptions. I could make different assumptions and devalue it significantly. Right. So anybody, that's out there. It's supposed to help pay for the big move up in defense and police spending, which I think is a great idea, but how do you pay for it, right? So I don't know. I don't know if this becomes law or not. I think this would be pretty easy if the Democrats had the blue wave that started, over a year ago, and we haven't really seen a whole lot of tax reform. I think this would be kind of an easy win, if you will, if they can kind of sneak this through before the elections come up in the middle of, or later this year in November.
Thank you, everyone, for your questions. Please submit your questions as a comment through social media or directly to our email at vipservices@ankerstarwealth.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get daily updates. That's all we have for today's show. I'm Allison Ankerstar, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.